Hey guys, I wanted to take a moment to review some of the really difficult problems from the Chapter 6 Mastery. So if you are still working through the corrections from the Chapter 6 Mastery or you need some help on the progressing the Mastery, hopefully this will help you out with that assignment. So, first problem that a lot of people had some issues with was remembering how we find a repeating decimal. So we talked about a bunch of repeating decimals in class. We dealt with any division by 3, or most divisions by 9, and any division by 11. Any of those will result in a repeating decimal. So if I did like 1/3, that'd be 0.3 repeating, or 2/9, that'd be 0.2 repeating, or like 3/11 would be 0.27 repeating. So you just have to choose one of those. So let's say if I chose 3/11, that becomes 0.27 repeating forever. So it's 27, 27, 27, 27. And actually, I'm going to go ahead and write a couple of those out. So then I have my fraction and my decimal form to convert to percent. We multiply by 100, and we find that our percent form would be 27.27 repeating forever. So there's lots of different options there. That's not the only right answer. There are many right answers there. Most of us got 2 and 3. We're essentially looking for the complementary value that adds up to a total of 1 or of 100%. Right here, some people had an issue thinking about the part and the whole. The whole is going to be everybody that gets surveyed, which if I total this up, comes out to be 200. And the part that we're looking for is going to be comedies. So we want how many people listed comedies as their favorite. Well, that, of course, is 50. So to find our percent, we just do 50 divided by 200. That can reduce down to 25 over 100. And we could stop right there, because if we're over 100, the numerator value is my percent, and I get 25%. We do the exact same thing in number 5. It's asking how many people watch news programs out of the 50 people surveyed. So you should be able to do that on your own. Here, it tells us that Sam bought a video, and the video was $20, and the tax on it was 8%. So the statement tells me tax is 8% of the price. So if we want to calculate 8% of the price, of tells me to multiply. 8% tells me divide by 100. So to find the tax, we do 8 divided by 100, gives me 8/100ths times the purchase price, which was 20, and we get 1.6. But since this is money, I got to have that second decimal place. Even though it's unimportant, even though it doesn't do anything in this situation, it's money, we got to have both decimal places there. Number 7 is exactly the same as number 6, just calculating 10% of the $41.36 that is the purchase price. I did not mean to do that. Clear that out of there. So 8 and 9 were a little bit of a struggle for some of us. 8 tells me that we're looking at commission. Like I always talk about back when I worked at Macy's or any of those places, commission is a percent of your sales. So this employee sold $3,500 worth of clothes, and he's going to make a 5% commission. So to do that, we're going to say his commission is 5% of his sales. Of tells me to multiply. Percent tells me to divide by 100. So to calculate that commission, I get 5/100ths times my sales, which was 3,500. And he will make from however long, we don't know exactly how long it took him to sell $3,500 worth of clothes. But if he did, 5% of that comes out to be he made a commission of $175. Now, I wanted 8 and 9 to be related to each other, so I kept the percent the same. And I know if you're watching the video, you might not be able to see this right now. And I kept the fact that you know the commission, as opposed to up here, you didn't know the commission. So in number 8, you had to solve commission. Number 9, you're given the commission. So we're actually going to use the same formula, but a slight variation on it. Scroll this up to make sure that you can see that if you're watching the video. So we know the commission. and we're looking for the whole amount, I know that my percent equation is parts equals percent times whole. And when we look at commission, is that part of what he sold or all of what he sold? Your commission is part of what you sold, and you get to take that home with you as part of your paycheck. So we know his part was $80. We know his percent earnings were 5%, and we don't know this whole value. So now, to get the whole value by itself, and I actually gave you this formula in class, the whole amount will be the part divided by the rate, which is really just the decimal form of the percent. So I already have my decimal form of my percent. I just divide by the 5,000ths, and that will give me that his total sales. Now let's relate that to problem 8. If he made $175 in problem 8 and sold $3,500, now he only made $80, so he made less than half, means his sales are going to be less than half of what they had been. And this comes out to be a whole value of $1,600. So my answer was $1,600. If there is nothing to represent in your cents, you can leave it blank, or you can just put your double zeros. Now on the back, I'm going to skip past 10. If you're having issues with that, please come see me. 11. This was one where lots of people had issues. And here's the trick. You have to do it slowly. You cannot try to wham, bang, boom, get your way to this answer. So the first thing we have to do is find that higher price. To find that higher price, I look at the fact that normally the vehicle rents for $300. That's going to be our whole because that's the normal. Because it was peak ski season, these rentals are going to be 50% more than normal. So the first thing I can figure out is, what is 50% of the rental? Well, 50% of the rental, percent, again, tells me divide by 100. When I divide by 100, I get 0.5 of the normal rental, and I get 150. But that is going to be an increase. So it's $150 more. So my new higher price is going to be my $300 plus my $150 add-on because of it being peak ski season. So the higher price would be charged $450. However, and this is dollars. However, though, we then have a discount of 20%, and a discount takes us down. So we need to then find out 20% of the higher price. If it's going to be off the higher price, it is 20% of the higher price. So let's find that discount will be 20%, and percent tells me divide by 100. So this will actually become 20 hundredths, or 2/10, times your higher price of $450 gives me 90. Now, some of you stopped at the 90. We don't stop there because that's the amount of discount. So once we get to 90, we then, to find the final price, we take the higher price minus the discount, and we find out that in the end, we would be asked to pay, if we rented from that same company, $360. Now that's when you could shop around and try to find out, does anybody have a better price than that for the van? So the first thing we did was found 50%. That was $150 more. I add it to the initial price to get my higher price of $450. We then find the discount of 20% off of the $450. That's $90, which gets subtracted since it's a discount, and leads me to my final answer of $360. I'm going to pause this for just a second, then I will come back and do your percent error problems. So percent error is again a percent. So really it's part divided by whole, and then as always with percents, we're going to have to multiply by 100. But in percent error, our part is the amount of error, and the whole value is the actual. So in this situation, Matt and Kenny are walking through the lunch line, estimate, there are 147 chicken nuggets. If there are actually 100, their amount of error would be the difference here, which is 47. The actual was 100. I tried to make this problem easy for you to begin with. When I have division by 100 and times 100, these undo each other, and this comes out to be 47%. Or we would have solved this to be 0.47 times 100, which would then still lead me to 47%. Now, question 13 is a bit more difficult because the first thing you have to identify is 2 dozen. Well, how many are in each dozen is 12, so that actually becomes 24 dogs. If there are actually 28 dogs there, then my error between 24 and 28 is 4 divided by the actual amount. This is where people make their mistake. You got to put the actual amount in the denominator. 4 divided by 28 then comes out to be 0.142857 because that actually reduces to our 1/7. It's one of those cool ones. And that would repeat forever. But since we just want the percent, we go ahead and multiply by the 100. And that leads me to 14.3% if I round to the tenths place. If you round to the hundredths place, it'd be 14.29. It depends on where you want to round. And if we round to the thousandths place, it'd be 14.286. So here, 30 and 33, it's the same process that we've done in 12 and 13. Now, this problem with the shoveling, a lot of people got goofed up on this. If we are charging $20 right now, you're charging $20 for every driveway that you shovel. That $20 is 100% of what you're charging right now. Then, when you get to my house, you decide that you're going to increase the price by 15%. So if this was 100% and we increase it by 15, I'm going to get that the new price will be 115% of the original. Now, the original was 20, so all we have to do to find the new price is do 115% of the original price, which this comes out to be 1.15 times 20, which in the end will be $23. And probably the last one that I'm going to do. 17, you should be able to figure out that Cabilo has 3 pieces. The total is 574. What percent does he have? We have a part and a whole that we want to calculate with. Make sure that you multiply by 100 before you round to the thousandths place. Down here, we have a little bit of conversion that needs to happen, which is why I was going to solve 18. We have 4 tons of gravel in the truck. If Rob moves 20 pounds, tons versus pounds, I do not have the same unit. To do a percent calculation, I have to have same units. So I need to convert my tons. I see that 1 ton is 2,000 pounds. So I just take my 4 tons and multiply by 2,000. That gives me 8,000 pounds. Don't know why it's blinking. So then to find my percent, I take the amount Rob has, is 20 pounds, divided by my 8,000. Once I get that decimal, you have to multiply by 100 to get it into percent form. This is going to be a percent less than 1. Might as well give it to you. It comes out to be 0.25% because this comes out to be 0.0025 times 100. When I multiply by that 100, I move my decimal 2 place values. So if you have any questions beyond that on getting those corrections done, please come see me. Otherwise, your Progressing to Mastery is right over here on the chalkboard. So please pick one of those up. Staple together your original test with your corrections with the Progressing to Mastery to turn it back in and turn that grade into a mastery. Please let me know if you need any help. Other than that, I will see you guys later.